Hey everyone, happy Facebook Live. It is a Wednesday evening. It's a little before 11 o'clock. I told you I'd do a live weather update, and Kendall's like, here we go. So, wondering about the tie, Kendall? We've got the flooding tie on. So, the heavy raindrops that are going to be coming down big time. This is the deal here. I've been watching this system for the last several days, and it looks like every time I've been looking at it, it looks like the potential for heavy rain is increasing. The amount of rain is increasing. This could be a significant rain event and significant flooding potential. And so let's go ahead and we'll take a look at it. We'll dive into it. If you have any questions, feel free to fire away on the comments, and I'll try to answer as many as I can. But I am alone. It's just me, myself, and I in the weather lab. We've got Zach Gilday, who is off today. He will be in tomorrow. And we've got meteorologist Josh Rugger, who is going to be in the morning, along with weather forecaster Blaze Thomas. And I hate when that arrow is pointed into my neighborhood, says Carrie. So let's dive into it, shall we? Well, first of all, we're going to start off with this. We've got a flood watch that's in effect. Now, this flood watch was issued earlier today. It's at the gym, actually, and that's when that flood watch was issued. And people were asking if we were going to see some rain today, and the fact is, yes, we are. We're going to see a lot of it, as a matter of fact. Heavy rain of 2 to 4 inches will localize higher amounts. This is really, honestly, a classic setup for the potential for heavy rain. So you've got, looks like it's kind of hard to read that because it doesn't space at the end. So let's put a little space at the end. So we got a flood watch that's in effect, starts at 1 a.m. Now, that doesn't mean at 1 a.m. it's immediately going to start flooding, but that does mean that the rain is going to start picking up in intensity. And then we've got through 1 p.m. Thursday. So flash flooding with amounts of 2 to 4 inches possible. And the amounts could be greater than 4 inches, as we will take a look and we'll show you here coming up in the weather forecast. Now, there's already a flood warning that's in effect for the Illinois River near Watts, Illinois River near Tahlequah. Both of those areas are expecting minor flood stage as of now. Could be more. We'll see how that evolves. Now, I know if you watch the newscast, you're like, I've already seen all these graphics, all that stuff. But you can see this upper level flow. We've got what's called northwest flow. And you got to know it's northwest flow, right? So the jet stream is flowing from northwest to southeast. Thunderstorms are popping up. This low pressure system is riding up and over the ridge of high pressure. And that's starting to kind of back up a little bit. And now we got these storms that are going to be developing too. So, as there is a tornado warning, someone was asking about a tornado warning. There was a tornado warning in Beaver County, which is in eastern Oklahoma panhandle. However, where is that question? Where is that comment? Unless it was deleted. Don't see it anymore. I guess someone deleted it. Oh, here it is. Tornado warnings for NWA. And the answer is no. Tornado threat is non-existent for us. We don't have any surface-based instability. So we're going to show Dance Stuff Diva. We're going to take a look at some of the stuff here on the heavy rain potential. Let's bring this up full, shall we, so you can really get to see what we've got cooking. So first of all, thunderstorms. There you see that severe thunderstorm that was in the eastern Texas panhandle. It's now severe. It was tornado warned. And this rain does not originate from the Baja. It's really more towards the Idaho area. The tornado in the panhandle is very close, by the way, to my in-laws' house in Booker, Texas. In fact, I wish I was in Booker, Texas. That would have been awesome. And as I posted today, it's going to rain. So, yeah, it is going to rain a lot. This is an overrunning precipitation event. So, Lisa, this is not going to be severe thunderstorm warnings. Now, flash flood warnings could be definitely a possibility. Let me show you before we look at the rain totals. If we look at the severe weather risk, you can see that's non-existent. Now, for the day 2, there is a marginal threat that includes southeastern Oklahoma, but it really doesn't include northwest Arkansas. We are going to be north of the boundary. The boundary will lift northward, but we will still remain north of the boundary. So tornado threat doesn't exist. Damaging wind potential is there and hail potential. So honestly, that's where the instability is greater. That's where the thunderstorms will be more possible. But let's go back to what we've got for our local radar. And you're going to notice, first of all, the rain is already starting to develop. Do you see how it's starting to what we call train? Now, think of railroad cars on a train track moving over the same area, just consistently moving over the same geographic area. Once this develops into thunderstorms, we've got some heavy rain coming our way. So believe me, I'm going to get to all the totals here in just a second, at least what the models are showing. So here's the future track radar. You'll see thunderstorms developing during the overnight hours. And there's that northwest flow weather pattern. Here comes some energy. And look at about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, thunderstorms are erupting. Now, this is some heavy rain throughout the late morning and into the early afternoon. And someone was asking if this is going to be a 6-inch rainfall in 12 hours. It does kind of look like that. It kind of concerns me with my with my backyard and all that stuff. We'll take a look at where the rain is right now too. But look at this. As we go throughout the rest of our future track, those storms are eventually going to shift into the river valley. And so then the storms continue to train over the river valley. So there's a chance that that flood watch could be expanded into the river valley, but it's still a little uncertain as to how that's going to evolve. And then by Friday morning, everything's out of here. Now, I know the Razorback soccer team has a big matchup. There could be a lingering shower, but as far as major activity during the soccer game tomorrow night, don't really have to worry about that. High school football is looking good for Friday. But here's a look at that 2-day rain forecast timeline. So we're going way up, 100%. And in fact, if you watch the weather forecast, I actually went over 100%, 110%. I've only done that a few times. I've done that for the April 29th, 2017 flood. I went 110% for a St. Patrick's Day flood. And then I went 110% for a flooding event in 2015. It was in May of 2015. Big flooding event. I just feel like, 100%, it does say it, but 110% says it even more, as you'll see here in just a bit. So there's the rain timeline. That is for Northwest Arkansas. River Valley, you're going to see it shift a little bit to the right. And also the rain lingers a little longer during the afternoon into the evening, as you just saw. Okay, so let's take a look at the rain totals. Now, before I show you this, I got to preface this. This is just a computer model. This is not what's going to happen exactly. However, when computer models are consistently showing the same thing, you start taking notice. So let's take a look here at the precipitation amounts. So this is the future track rain. And we'll show you the zoomed in view too. But first of all, let's watch this evolve. So you're going to see how fast this piles up. So at 10 o'clock, we get a few little hundredths of an inch here and there. And we've got that right now, just to let you know. We've got a little bit of rain popping up. So let's do this. Let's go into scenes. Let's go to Mega Doppler. So here's Mega Doppler. We're getting a little bit of light rain that's popping up right now. Nothing super major. The rain is coming down in parts of Benton County, especially eastern Washington County. But it's sporadic. It really hasn't evolved. It hasn't materialized yet. Going back to our graphics here, this, by the way, is look at the 5 inches possible. So this is the Weather Prediction Center forecast. And then if we go back to here, there will be a corridor of heavy rain that runs right through Northwest Arkansas. It appears that that's where it's going to be. So this is the amounts through about 11 o'clock, but really, honestly, you can see that the majority of this rain is over by the early afternoon. Now, we can take a look here. Sorry, that's my alarm. Read the Bible. Put a nice little reminder on there. Read the good book. I've still got my streak going too, like 30 plus days where I've done the daily verse and the readings and all that stuff. But let's go back to, all right, here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. The precipitation amounts. So this is the zoomed in view, all right? So we're going to show you the zoomed in view, the local. This is the local extended. So let's take a look here at some totals. Now, remember, this is just a computer model, but it'll show you the amounts of rain that will be possible. So And you can see that that's some substantial amounts, folks. 5.74 in Bentonville, 5.5 inches in Rogers. Now, the Weather Service mentioned this, and I agree with it. The corridor of this heavy rain is going to be fairly narrow. So this could shift eastward to Eureka Springs. It could shift westward to Siloam Springs. But you're noticing 5.74 in Bentonville, 4.39 in Grove, but then just northwest of that, the model doesn't pick up quite as much on the super heavy rain as you can see. And if we go through the entire forecast here, we will show you that there's that bullseye right there. See, that's actually around 6 to 7 inches of rain. So we're looking at some pretty heavy rain. And I see your comment, Brendan, and there's really no way to compare this. This is if you look up flooding rain events, this is basically it right here. Because you've got this. You've got the overrunning precipitation. You got the stationary front that's to the southwest. What's happening is mid-level moisture is on the increase. You got a stable layer in the lower levels. So all that moisture is pumping right up and over that front. And then eventually, as you get this energy that swings in from the northwest, that is going to allow for those storms to develop. And that's what all the models are indicating. Now, we looked at the HRRR. We'll look at some other models. There's that energy swinging in. It's pretty intense. It's a pretty stout system. So we do know that heavy rain, yeah, right over War Eagle. But remember, that's just a model. So what are the other models saying? Well, let's check it out. Let's look at the 4-day precipitation, 3-day precipitation forecast. Drive time does look pretty rough, just to let you know. College classes look rough. I doubt there's any college kids on this watching, but if you are and you have a class in the morning, it could be dicey. Now, the graph is showing a bullseye of heavy rain. It's kind of trended down a little bit, but 3 inches is no slouch. That's a lot. The risk of hail is not really there, so you don't have to worry about that. Oh, Brian's here, so we could start everything over. Now, we're still going to go on, but I'm sure I'll repeat the same thing 25 times. So there's that heavy rain that's through the corridor of northwest Arkansas. Now, the European, I would say the European is about the only one that doesn't show the heavy rain over northwest Arkansas. Still shows rain. However, 4.62 it does show for Little Rock. Now, I think the European's a little off on this one, to be honest with you. GFS corridor right through northwest Arkansas. And look at the NAM. The NAM is now a lot less over northwest Arkansas and more in the river valley. So let's see the reason for that and the result of that. It probably has to do with where the training exactly is going to develop and where it's going to take place. So I'm imagining that the NAM is developing quite a few storms. Let's look here. Stand by. So I'm imagining that's the NAM 3 kilometer. Let's see what happens. So there's the storms. So look at that morning commute time, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And let's see what happens. Yeah, that doesn't. Oh, that's why. It develops additional storms Friday morning, and then those finally start to move out. Now let's look at the NAM 12 kilometer. Well, I guess I should say 20 kilometer. So the North American model, let's look at this. And yeah, okay. So that has the rain a lot farther south. I don't think that's happening. So that seems a little overdone in the river valley. Now I do think the river valley will see rain. And I do think the rain will continue into the morning hours. But as far as those totals, I think that's a little off. So let's look at some other models here. Let's look at the zoomed in view here of the European. So I think I have the European close up. Let's see real fast. I'll stand by just a second. Oh, okay. Since I'm the only one around here, I guess I can have the camera follow me. Okay, yep, here we go. Here's the local European model. with the rain totals. Now remember, this is on the lighter end. So let's see what it shows. It shows 2.66 for Bella Vista, and that's through Thursday night, obviously. It has a little bit of rain falling Friday morning. That's why we didn't remove the rain chances. But that's kind of the least amount out of everything. Let's look here. Yep, that's not going to show up there. So I do believe that this is going to be a heavy rain event, and all the ingredients are kind of showing this. I don't think that there's just an oddball out that doesn't show any rain. And so to break this down for you, that's why we went 110% for that chance of rain. So the ingredients are there, the stationary front's there, all those things are coming together for that potential for rain. Flooding is the most dangerous weather event. You're right. Uh-huh. Anything severe happening tomorrow. So we showed you that the severe threat is going to be in southeast Oklahoma, and it's a marginal threat. This is mainly just a flooding potential, but just remember, flooding is the number one killer of severe thunderstorm phenomena. So phenomena. You remember that song. Let's take a look here at some zoomed in views on the GFS. Let's see what that looks like. So here's the GFS local. We'll pop this up. Going to be beautiful colors this fall, Brandon. That is one thing that is amazing for this. So here is, look at that, and there's that corridor of heavy rain, 4 inches, over 4 inches in Huntsville. So, and you can see that runs right through northwest Arkansas. So, yeah, I know. Driving in the heavy rain is going to be a little bit of an issue. We'll show you again that future radar. Let's take a look here at the graph, 3 kilometer, and we can do a zoomed in view on that. So let's do the local, let's see your graph. Here's the rain graph, 4 kilometer local. Let's see what it shows. Once again, bullseye of heavy rain. So the corridor, like we mentioned, is narrow. That's because these thunderstorms popping up will develop pretty rapidly, but they're going to train over the same area. You know what I'm talking about, Brian. So let's break this down for you again in timing. For those that have plans tomorrow morning, I know some people have flights. I was at the dentist the other day when there was a dental hygienist that said they live on the east side of Fayetteville near the West Fork of the White River. They said when it floods, their driveway floods, and they can't get into work. So it may not be that way right at 7 a.m., but by the late morning into the afternoon could be an issue. So check this out. 5 o'clock in the morning, thunderstorms happening. Josh Rugger will be on it. Blaze Thomas will be here. Zach Gilday will be in with me tomorrow. But there's those rainstorms developing, and you can see how they're kind of showing that corridor a little bit farther northeast of Fayetteville. So we'll see if that heavy rain does develop. Regardless, every single square inch of the area is going to see flooding. And that's really, honestly, the only threat. So there's no even reason to show the severe weather potential because it's not there. Oh, really? My office has flooded twice this year. I'm more than a little nervous. Don't think you'll be able to get a shelf cloud tomorrow just because there's going to be so much clouds and storms. So that's a good question. Friday night football is looking good. And by the way, if you're going to the Fayetteville High School game, right before kickoff, I've got something cooked up for the pre-kickoff, little hype video, if you will. The forecast hype video. Fort Smith will see rain as well, but it won't be as much. And that's why that flood watch isn't in effect for Fort Smith. But here you'll see that those storms are still to the north. Now, by early afternoon, Shakira, bet you haven't heard that before. Thunderstorms rolling into the area. See, this is what happens when I'm alone and it's late at night. 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, heavy rain continues to come down in Fort Smith. And this is where that flooding potential ramps up, especially in parts of the river valley. So you're telling me I have to leave earlier for work? Yes, exactly. Because if you're busting your butt to get to work and you hit some hydroplaning, um, it's not going to be good. And there probably will be people that hydroplane because there's going to be some pretty strong storms with heavy rain. We're talking rainfall rates around 1 to 2 inches per hour, which will definitely lead to the potential for flash flooding. I wonder if the Weather Prediction Center has a mesoscale precipitation discussion out. Let's see. So they have one to the northwest of us, which makes sense. And that is, let's see, for right now, Wednesday. So let me show you that real quick. Share the window. And so this is the this right here is the Weather Prediction Center outlook, and this is what's called a mesoscale precipitation discussion. So if you're not noticing, this is Oklahoma. This was issued at 8:25. There is nothing right now that's been issued, but you can see who's impacted by that, and probably next will be right over us because that's the way northwest flow is. So we're going to see that activity. How much rain is expected for Fort Smith? I think around 1 to 2 inches. So there's not going to be, the rain will be out of here by 5:30. As far as the heavy rain, now it depends where you're at. If we go back to River Valley, there still will be some rain and thunderstorms in the River Valley, but Northwest Arkansas is going to kind of be removed from that. So the rain will clear out from north to south. Let me show you what this model shows for rain totals in the River Valley. So it shows about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So we're talking about, if we take a look here, there you see Fort Smith, 1.12, 0.45 in Boonville. So a lot less. And that makes sense for the way that the weather pattern is setting up. And then you look here and you can kind of see the flood watch doesn't even include the River Valley. Let's see here. Yeah, 7 a.m. to Bella Vista Rogers. You're going to be driving through some really heavy rain. It's going to be a really sharp gradient. You're right. That's probably the key to all of this, is that this gradient will be pretty tight. Friday, I'm not sold on rain. It's not going to be a whole lot. So yeah, guys, I'll go 30 minutes or so. We just got a few more minutes. So if you have any questions, we'll break down and kind of show you the very latest. So again, just to reiterate, here's what we've got. Potential for flooding is on the increase. We got heavy rain with some areas picking up over 4 inches of rain. Some locations could get up to 6, even possibly 7 inches of rain. Then you'll notice here that heavy rain at times in the flood watch could be happening. This could extend past 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Going back to our timing again, and then we'll go to totals. The timing is going to be late morning into the early afternoon. We'll bring this up full so you can really see on your tablet or on your device. And it's trying to develop stuff during the afternoon. I don't buy it. The model's doing that. I'll probably take that out. But 100% for that chance of rain. River Valley, similar, 100% for the chance of rain. But if we go to the 7-day forecast, we'll do the first 5 days. So I went 110%. Nah, it's going to rain tomorrow, and it's going to rain a lot. And some places will get substantial flooding. In fact, check out the very latest here on Mega Doppler. You're already starting to see those showers banding and developing. And this is just the start of the low-level jet kicking in. So going back to our 7-day, 110%. And I've been here 19 years. June 30th, 2006 was when I started here at KNWA. And I can tell you that I've only done that a few times. Now, do I think this is going to be biblical, historic record flooding? Not really. Do I think it's going to be a substantial flooding event? Yeah, it could be in spots. So that's why I just wanted to go 110%, because I know a lot of people have been saying, we haven't gotten any rain. I even had a viewer that emailed in and said, why do we always miss it in Hawaii? But Kent is going to be getting rain. In fact, it's already raining, and it will continue to rain. So how about this? Did you see the Weather Prediction Center's Extreme Precipitation Monitor, ARI, for our area, 10-year with 25-year at 90 percentile? That's a good question. I haven't. I looked at the Weather Prediction Center, and we could look at some of that. They had the moderate risk kind of over us, but then they took it out and they drifted it west. So yeah, if we look at the ERI climatology, about eight days, 8 times we've been under high risk. So we're not high risk, but we do have the ERO, which is the excessive rainfall outlook. Let me show you that real quick. I'll add this to the stage. So you can see right here, we've got that moderate risk that's just to our northwest. It did include southwest Missouri. They kind of trended it down a little bit. If we look at the day 2, you will notice that it extends over our area. So at least 15% of 25 miles within a point exceeding flash flood guidance. So they don't really know exactly where the corridor of the heaviest rain will be. If you look at the, that's not what you want to see. Day 3, the threat shifts south, but still continues in the river valley. So that's why Friday does have that potential for flash flooding. So I can make this opacity 100% or 10%. But if come down here, there you get to see that moderate risk on the day 1 excessive rainfall outlook. You know, there's a graphic that we actually have for that. It might take me a few seconds to try to find it, but we do have a good graphic about the different type of land. And I can't remember what I called it. I thought it would be runoff, but I couldn't find it. Oh, by the way, this is an overrunning precipitation event. So this is what we're seeing. We've got that stationary front. We got cooler air, northeasterly flow, which is kind of like a damming event. And so that precipitation, as it comes overhead, that warm air, as it rises, moisture in the air condenses, forms precipitation. So typical conditions, thick clouds, you've got steady light rain, and then the rain could be pretty heavy. And then sometimes you can get wintertime too, overrunning precipitation. Now, we're not cold enough for wintertime, but that kind of shows you the overrunning precipitation that we could see. So what the heck did I call that? Let me try to look here. Yeah, I know I made it, but I can't find it. Let me look for flooding graphics here. Well, here's some flood safety tips, by the way. Move to higher ground if you encounter flooded areas. Do not attempt to drive through a flooded road. 1 foot of water, float away vehicles. 2 feet of water will take any vehicle away, even SUVs. And don't drive around barricades. We had that happen in the River Valley. Unfortunately, someone did drive around the barricade, and there's a reason they're there. They're for your protection. They're for your safety. I cannot find that graphic. That bugs me because I know I made it. Let me try looking at something here real quick. Stand by. Oh boy, I probably just locked it up there. Yeah, I can't find that one. Maybe I'll go to most recently updated, and I'll have to go down a little bit, but I might be able to find it that way. Let's see here. There's all the heat risks. There's all the graphics. There's SOAR. There's a Perseid meteor shower. Severe weather. Tsunami. Lightning. Yeah, this is going to take forever. Precipitation type. Because I was going to show it on the newscast, and I was like, what the heck did I call it? I can't find it anywhere. It's kind of a cool graphic, though. It shows the heavy rain and the runoff. And if the land is dry, maybe dry. Let me try that. Dry air, dry September, dry, forget it. I give up. I give up. I give up. I give up. All right. So last thing is, okay, I'm very sorry, but I'm just checking in now. You mentioned jet stream changes developing over the next few days. Recap the next few days of forecast. Yes, I can. All right. So here's the deal. We're going to continue to keep those rain chances in there for the weekend. I don't think they're great, but I can't remove them. And there's good reason for that. So let me show you what's happening here with the jet stream. We'll take a look. These are the changes, by the way. The changes are obviously is that we're in northwest flow. So in northwest flow, the cool air continues, but you can see how that just continues to feed our area in that northwest flow. Then as we go into our Saturday, we still have that northwest flow. So it's still remaining cool. But then the ridge kind of starts to build back in. And then we get another system that comes through next week. That could really cool off the temperatures too. But it's still a little bit uncertain as to how much of a blow that cooler air is going to be. So we do have that significant changes and multiple systems coming through. And if we look at the upper level energy, if you're looking about the long range forecast, and I'll close it out with the 7-day. Here's a look at, again, that energy that swings in, and then you'll see more energy. It's very subtle, but it's there, and that's why I can't remove those shower chances for Saturday. I think the Razorback game should be rain-free, but I do think there's going to be a little bit on there. Here's a look at the energy coming in Monday. So we did include some rain chances for Labor Day. It's just there's just too much energy, as you can see, moving in that pesky northwest flow weather pattern. I can't remove them. And anybody that did, I don't think they're buying the European model, which makes sense. All right, so here's the long range forecast. Temperatures are going to warm up. There's Saturday. See how there's a little pop-up showers here and there? Higher resolution models are showing that. Yep, Pacific Ridge is going to be stubborn. Then you can see here's Monday. See, this is why I put rain chances in there with that system diving in, even though it looked great yesterday. And then we got Tuesday, but this could all be gone here. That's why I only went 20%. And then next week, Wednesday, Thursday, it's zipped through. I think we do see a system come zipping in. This might bring thunderstorms Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So much uncertainty with that. And then it'll start warming up. So let's show you the 7-day forecast. First 5 days, there we've got 79 on Saturday, Sunday 80 degrees, Labor Day. I've got that 20% in there as of now. And then next week, Monday through Wednesday, lower to middle 80s, morning lows around 60 degrees. And if we look at here, that's the Northwest Arkansas forecast. Don't want to leave the River Valley out. We'll let you take a good look at that. There's the rain and storm chances for Tuesday. I think that's more likely as that energy swings in. Here's your River Valley forecast. Can't believe September 1st and Labor Day is right around the corner. Yeah, we're not going to cover that. NFL kickoff. It depends what game. There's so much going on. So, Kathy B said, you need to title them. What did I call it? 8/28/25 or whatever the date is. Speaking of that, by the way, Katrina making landfall 20 years ago, 2 days from now along the Gulf Coast. And I actually covered that. And we actually talked about that on the newscast too. That was a crazy hurricane. That was my first hurricane ever to cover. Huh, what a hurricane. But anyways, all right, guys. Well, I got to run. I got to get something to eat. I haven't even eaten dinner all night tonight. I've eaten snacks and all sorts of stuff like that. The game in Atlanta, that's going to be 72 degrees under the dome. So it'll be nice. But yeah, get ready for heavy rain. Heavy rain is no doubt coming. And Josh Rugger will be here. Blaze Thomas will be here. So he'll probably have the live stream going. Now remember, flooding event takes a long time to materialize. There won't be tornadoes. There won't be damaging winds. There's a very, very, very low chance of damaging winds. And hail is not going to be a concern either. But thunderstorms, lightning, walking to class, bus stop, all that stuff will be impacted. Your drive to work, just take it slow, take it easy. Remember, don't slam on your brakes if you start hydroplaning. Counter steer. You know, watch all that stuff. I love watching the movie License to Drive. They have that hydroplaning scene in there. But anyways, see you guys later. God bless. You have a great rest of your night. And be safe tomorrow, all right? We'll keep you updated, keep you here with your weather authority for the latest. See you guys. Peace.